Hello, this is DerTebbers, and this is your Flight Simulator X Mod Spotlight. Welcome aboard and welcome to Gunsan Air Base in Korea. We are flying our F-86 Sabre. Can also be found as a FJ-35C Fury, I believe. Might have the F's wrong. We are flying one in the Chino Kid livery. Very important aircraft in Korea. So let's actually let me look at something right now, and I don't see it. All right, so let's we'll talk about what I'm not seeing here in a moment. Let's get inside, and we sit right on top of the controls, and there's some gauges missing. Nice. Hey, I've got legs and a hand. Well, both hands actually. So the instructions to install this were just ridiculously complex. I mean, they didn't do a very good job of it. So those gauges are probably somewhere. I just have to dig them out. Oh, I can look through my head. That's nice. I have hair. Apparently, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of hair on top of my head. That's what I'm going with. Okay. Interesting. The gauges look ill-formed. I mean, what's going on here? What? Go back over here. Ooh, whoa, too much. What? Those are toggle switches. At least model the toggle switches. All right. Okay, so what are we in? We're in the F-86 Sabre. This is the first swept-wing fighter jet that saw active combat with the United States Air Force. It is considered one of the best fighters of its era, and in fact it often ranks up there with the best all time. It was originally designed, interestingly enough, with straight wings. Originally these wings here that are at a 35-degree slant were straight. But capture technology from the Germans after World War II taught us that sweeping the wings actually increases speed. So it bought the aircraft more speed with a lighter engine to sweep our wings, so the wings were swept. Now, what did this cause? However, this caused an issue where at low speeds, lift wasn't necessarily created properly. So leading edge slats were developed in the F-86, and in fact they were automatic, and I'm doing air quotes here. By automatic, they were just basically as the airspeed dropped, the flaps would just drop down. It wasn't the most elegant design, but it was a functional design, and that's what mattered. Alright, so why are we in Korea? We're in Korea because this aircraft made its name here up on Mig Alley. Let's take to the skies while we talk about this aircraft. Here come the engines. Take the parking brake off. And you hear the engine at 1 GE J47 GE 27 producing a whole 5,910 pounds of thrust. Do I have flaps? Oh, that does have flaps. That's good, because we're probably going to need them. There we go. I've heard one of these. I've been to air shows where these aircraft have flown over, and they have a very distinctive sound. You can tell these older jet aircraft. There's also a Mig-21 that flies around up in the hills around Winter Park, Colorado. Rich guy owns it. It's an interesting aircraft to hear fly around up there. So in Korea, during the Korean War, early on, pilots flying the B-29s and B-50, not B-52, but the B-50, were reporting seeing strange swept-wing fighters buzzing around. Well, those turned out to be the Mig-15. And the Mig-15 was a terror for the bombers. It was faster than our fighters. Now, P-51 could engage them, but couldn't keep up with them. Had a heavy cannon that could just rip through the the bombers. Now, luckily for us, we had the F-86 just coming online. The F-86 comes on the scene, and some of the greatest air combat dogfights occurred between the F-86 and the Mig-15. And the Mig-15 had her pluses in various areas. The F-86 had hers. F-86 was faster. She has a top speed of 687 miles. Yeah, 687 miles an hour. In fact, in a dive, she could go supersonic. Not flat level, but in a dive. Now, her tailplane, notice how that whole tailplane moves? It's not just a flap, but an entire tailplane. This allowed the F-86 to get out of those high-speed dives. MiG-15 didn't have that, so the MiG-15 couldn't chase an F-86 in a high-speed dive. The F-86 is armed with 6 50 caliber machine guns. Very powerful. Not nearly as powerful as the cannon. The cannon on a MiG-15, you took a cannon shot in an F-86, you were dead. I mean, you were just a goner. But those 650 cals had more ammo than the cannon and a little bit better accuracy. Now, initially, the Mig-15 pilots, they were no joke. And they never were. They were some of the best fighter pilots ever, the Mig-15 pilots. They were frontline Soviet pilots. These were World War II aces that had come off of the Eastern Front, which would be the Western Front if you were in Russia. So they were top-level aces, and they were taking on our guys in the F-86. Now, you notice this one has drop tanks. The F-86's range was pretty limited, so she had to carry her drop tanks to get up to Mig Alley. Now, where is Mig Alley? Mig Alley is all the way up on the border with China. In fact, there's a lot of gun camera footage that disappeared because an F-86 pilot chased a Mig-15 over China. Now, one of the things about these drop tanks was you couldn't go into combat with these. They severely limited your maneuverability. An F-86 with drop tanks was a sitting target for a Mig-15. So when you went into combat, you would drop your drop tanks. One of the rules of combat was if one of your drop tanks hung, you had to turn back. That was the rule. Back in our plane. So let's try to get lined up for our landing. I see that airport over there. Where is it? There it is. Okay. While we do that, shift 1. Well, those are the missing gauges. Interesting. It's still kind of poorly modeled. 2. There's our GPS. 3 is our radio stack. And that's the end of it. Now the other thing she has some nice air brakes. Great for dogfight. You could pop them out at any time, change the airflow, and potentially line up the perfect deflection shot on that MiG-15 that you're targeting. Where's our runway? I don't know. Where is our runway? Should be right around. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay. I've got her throttled all the way back, and we're still cooking along at 300 knots. Let's do a little bit more braking. It's a very slippery, slick aircraft, very fast. First jet fighter aces came here in Korea on Mig Alley using the F-86. Now the F-100, which did come out later, was called the Super Sabre, and it took lessons learned from Vietnam, also lessons learned from things like the X-1. Let's close those dive brakes, air brakes, whatever. Okay. She's just now throttling back. For no reason, the engine has decided now is the time to throttle back. Whatever. Okay, we're gonna do this landing because it's not gonna be that hard,
Sink
right?
rate.
Oh, hush.
Pull up.
Be quiet, I'm flying a fighter
Pull
jet.
up.
There we go.
Pull up.
We're gonna see if we can land this plane.
Pull up.
You ever have a chance to see one of these at an air show? They're just the
Pull
nicest
up.
aircraft.
Sink rate.
Look at that. We're going to grease this landing. Oh, yeah. Grease the landing. Yeah. Nice. Very nice aircraft. I think it's very well modeled. Maybe we'll land. We'll stop before the end of the runway. There we go. I think it's very well modeled. Shut her down. There she goes. Open our cockpit. Nice. Notice they actually modeled something that I like. Watch the pilot when I close the cockpit. Watch how he has to duck. They actually had to do that. The way the cockpit was designed, the pilots, they had to duck and kind of, unless they were short, they had to duck and kind of to move around in order to get their head out of the cockpit or out from underneath the canopy. So this is the F-86 Sabre. I think this is a really nice model outside. Just don't get inside because, ugh, it's horrid in here. I would love to see one with the beautiful outside model that this one has, without the pilot that I'm looking through his head, and with a cleaner interior. That would be really nice. And also modeled wing leading edge slats or auto slats would be really nice. If you ever see one in a museum, usually the auto slats, I'm getting my mouse, auto slats, you'll see them just hanging down because there's no airflow, obviously, so the slats are just hanging there. So, yeah, I probably wouldn't keep this aircraft in my inventory just because I don't like the interior. But it's an interesting aircraft, a very important aircraft. Yeah, this is the F-86 Sabre. Links down below in the description if you want to get it and play with it. Until next time, this has been Captain DerTebbers, flying one of the greatest fighter planes of the Korean War. Bye.